In the media world, you accuse someone of doing wrong, big headlines. But admit that you were in the wrong, tiny print. Example, last year, just 2 weeks before the federal election, Channel 10's The Project, very left-wing, claimed that the National's Barnaby Joyce, when he was a minister, had wasted $80 million of your money buying back water from a farm run by some supposedly dodgy company once set up by Energy Minister Angus Taylor. Water that would, they claim, never flow downstream to the wetlands of the Narran Lakes in northern New South Wales.
How much should they have paid?
Well, nothing, because you can't use the water.
We paid $80 million of taxpayers' money, and we should have paid nothing.
Well, you can't use the water outside the property.
Was there one person, one minister that oversaw this decision?
This was all done and signed off by Barnaby Joyce. This is not a unique example of a huge amount of money being paid for water that was done without due process, that didn't go through a tender process, and that will not return one drop of water back to the environment.
In fact, guess what? The drought broke. The water that Joyce brought back flowed to the lakes and filled them beautifully, all as promised, and at a price that the Auditor-General said was not over the odds. How about that? I was joined a short while ago by Nationals MP Barnaby Joyce. Barnaby Joyce, thank you so much for joining me. Have you had an apology yet from the project and presenter Hamish McDonald?
No. And, you know, after they pursued me as some form of new Watergate and water, it's ridiculous. I said from the outset, what's now been shown to be the truth, I don't negotiate prices and I don't find the people selling the water. I mean, this is, I used to scratch my head, Andrew, and go, what the hell are they on about? I mean, surely they've done the rudimentary research, rung the department and realised that my role is a general oversight, not the particulars and peculiarities of the purchase of water. That is done absolutely at arm's length from me.
Yeah, it seemed to me there was a presumption they must be guilty of something and there was a casting around for whatever it was that might prove it. How much damage did it cause and why do you think the project reported that story as it did?
Because they're crazy lefties and that's what blows their hair back, and they thought that this was going to go really well for the for those who haven't quite attained a degree yet, but think they're beautiful and knowledgeable about the world. But it was just a load of rubbish. It was just undergraduate crap.
Well, the presenter, of course, is also with the ABC, and I think that says something there. Barnaby Joyce, you're speaking to me from your home. Parliament, Parliament next week, the first 2 weeks of sitting, has been cancelled. How do you feel about that?
It's no good. Look, Andrew, this I love this place, but it's not Parliament. This is Danglemar. And my job as a parliamentarian is to go to the Australian Federal Parliament and debate issues. And it's got to happen face to face. I've got to basically see the colour of someone's eyes to work out, whether they're BSing about an issue, what the truth is on something, to drive a deal for the people of my electorate, to try and keep my nation as best as I can on safe footing. And you can't do that, on a telephone. You can't do it on a mobile. And we either go to Parliament like we're asking everybody else to go back to work. So we've got to go back to work ourselves. And if they can't do that, if it's really beyond the pale, then let's do it online, but fair income online. Let's have question time online, and you can go click on your local member and see if he or her are in their office, if that's what you want to do. But this idea, we're too dumb to do it online, and we're too scared for you to go back to Australian Parliament House. I think we're really starting to take a dent in what democracy is actually about.
I couldn't agree with you more. There have been, and state governments too much recourse to scrapping Parliament, which suits the leaders in charge, of course, makes them less accountable.
Unitary control.
Big mistake.
A whole heap of Xi Jinpings. A whole heap of Xi Jinpings.
Almost, yes, almost.
Yeah.